about what's been going on the local, on the global, all across the horizon. At the rising of the dawn to the setting of the sun, when the night creepeth in, more and more havoc is run. DMC, do more crazy things, get done while you sleep. It's the turning of a chapter, the end as we speak. Too much BS on the regular, causing all the secular, segregating energy. The world needs an editor, scripted on a regular, building up the reservoir, not heading for the jugular, restructuring the cellular. I'm telling you, not sparing you, enlighten you, not biting. Are you ready for the truth? Take a look all around you.
Lately I've been wondering about what's been going on. We be pushing, eventually it's gone. On a daily I've been wondering what's been going on. We be pushing, eventually it's gone.
What about this one? I wish I knew the words to this song. BG Day coming up.
Hey.
Nice. Wow, our sister there, she's getting a little bit drowned out.
Yeah.
Hi, Bula, everybody.
Bula.
Trey is having a bit of a internet difficulty, we see, and we'll just play a little bit more music until she comes back on. Hope you enjoy this one. Who's
Sounds
this?
good. Come on, join in.
Who is this one?
This.
Are you all good now, Trey? Okay. Sing it, Sam. Nice, Sam. Nice. Hopefully, Trey will unfreeze herself there, but good to see you. I'm MJ. I'm the co-director of Mt Druitt Cultural Arts. Go, Trey. You're a bit 2 seconds behind. Can't hear her.
We can't hear you. And I'm Sevu, and that is Trey over here. And that is Mary Jane over here. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to Oceania 2 while Trey is still trying to get her internet working. I'm joining you from Gadigal land in the Eora Nation, which is in the city area. What about you, Mary Jane? What is the
I'm joining from Tarawa land, otherwise known as Wollongong. Hopefully our sister Trey's internet service will pick up. We were noticing that before we were coming on. Unfortunately, it was working good before, and then as soon as we went live, it started to play up a bit. But that's what happens when we're on the internet all the time. Coming up today in the show, well, as you know, Oceania 2, it's our 4th show, streaming on Fiji Day Sydney Facebook and Matavai Pacific Cultural Arts. And what are we all about, Seville?
Well, Oceania 2 is all about sharing information, ideas, and resources to our communities here in New South Wales, Australia, and anybody else who wants to tune in from all around the country and around the world. So make sure you comment, say hi to us, send us some love, and tell us where you're joining in from. We'd love to know.
Yes, we would. And we have got a bit of a Fiji theme tonight. Bula Matthew, Bula Aaron. Yes, that's why we're wearing our Mussy shirts and our shirts that we will purchase from Fiji. But on tonight's show, we'll be catching up with Pacific Island Mt Druitt Action Network, Inc., the president of PIMDAN. We're going to be catching up with Maherau, Piho, Arona, and the community at the Pasefika Vaccine Hub run by PIMDAN, which was down at Mt Druitt. But I just want to give a shout out. What an amazing amazing NRL grand final. It feels like a
Wow.
lifetime ago, but did you watch how amazing our Pasefika players in both Rabbitohs and Penrith Panthers played? It made me really proud to be a Pacific Islander. There were so many, and they're proud
So
of being
good to see.
Pacifica too. It was a really great time too to uplift the community after everything we've been through. It was good
It
to
certainly
see a win.
was. Yeah, and congratulations to Penrith Panthers for winning that, especially to our two Fijian boys. I want to do a shout out for them, Bill Kikau. And are you all right there, Trey? Trey's munching.
Does she even know that we're catching her?
Sorry, I was just having a bit of a break, but yeah, thank you for having me, guys.
Okay.
I don't think I've paid
Fridge.
my internet bill. Did we? Sorry, I was listening to the commentary.
What about Mary Jane the other week when the lights went off there and she goes, Fred, did you pay the electricity bill? That was classic. That was funny.
You know, I went to sleep thinking, why would you say that live on air? But you know, we have those moments, Like I seriously was thinking.
Forget. You can forget, right? You can forget those things.
We keep it real.
Yeah,
that's right.
I was just going to say that game was amazing, right? The game was amazing. You know, congratulations as well to the Rabbitohs for getting into the finals, and they did fantastic. Like, it was such a power pack game, you know, left you at the edge of your seats. So really enjoyed.
Thought you were going to say something else then.
Really enjoyed it. Hey, welcome everybody that's tuning in, by the way. Bula.
Trey, were you excited today?
I was excited. I'm excited every day, but I'm excited to be here with you three at this hour at 7:37 and to like have, you know, a lot of family and friends listening in. So yes, indeed. I just pray my internet is as excited as I am. Stay with me, internet, please.
Maybe
Also,
that's what it is.
Yes, but good to be here.
Yeah. What's coming up on the show? So tonight we're going to be speaking with Joseph. Trey, take it away. Who else is coming on the show tonight?
Yes, Joseph Zane Sikulu, who's the managing director of 350.org in the Pacific. So he joins us. Pacific Climate Warriors is part of the group, you know, with 350. So them and so many leaders and young and old leaders will be joining, making their way to Glasgow for the COP convention at the end of the month. So very exciting and important meeting of the minds to address climate issues that are, you know, happening all over the world, but impacting our people in the Pacific, you know, who are at the front line. So Joseph talks to us about climate change and how we can all join in the fight to save our islands and to amplify the voice of Pacific nations. So very excited to have a chat with him later on in the show.
Yeah, that'll be awesome.
And Seb, what's happening this week?
And we're also celebrating Fiji's Independence Day this weekend, which is on the 10th of October, on Sunday. And Fiji became independent, an independent sovereign state on the 10th of the 10th, 1970. So this Saturday, we'll be celebrating Fiji Day because it falls on a Sunday. So we'll be hosting an online celebration on Facebook. And we'll tell you more a little bit about that later on in the program. Also, we will check in with some young people and what they have been up to during this lockdown. Miss Trey.
Thank you, Seb.
Miss Trey.
So how have you been this week? How would you describe your week in one word and explain it? So Sebu.
This week for me has been...
I think my internet's lagging, so bear with me. But Seb, how's your week been? How would you describe your week in one word?
Is this going to happen all night? She's going to repeat herself. Okay, yeah. How would you describe
What was that, Trey? No, well, my week, the word that I choose is surprised because so much has been going on. And it's been both good surprises and, you know, interesting surprises, especially with the change of government here in New South Wales or change of premier. That took us by surprise. certainly did me, you know. So that was one, and then of course the game was a surprise. But so many things are happening, and it's good that we're reaching this stage. Yesterday we reached 70% of double vax in New South Wales, so we are all ready for Monday. And then, you know, rules change and everything. It's both exciting and nerve-wracking, but that is all surprising, everything that's happening.
Yeah, for me, my one word, well, roller coaster. If I could use two words, my second one would be eye roll. Totally eye roll, and big roller coaster, which pretty much explains the entire year. This week has been interesting because, you know, you've got the resignation of our premier, where, you know, got nobody leading the state, and then we had the excitement of the game, like Seb said, and then we had the reinstatement of a premier, which was a gentleman by the name of Dominic Perrottet. And then he has so many changes. So every day is like a roller coaster. Tomorrow will be another change, I'm sure. So waking up to that is just, yeah, that, you know, that's been our life for the last year and a half. So we couldn't expect anything less. What about you, Trey? Bula Radika.
So true.
True.
Roller coasters with lots of surprises.
Uh-huh.
Just like my internet tonight. But my word for the week is joy. Joy, because I feel like we can find the light at the end of the tunnel. And it's been a juggle, you know, with everything going on. But just, you know, feeling elements of joy that things are coming to a close and we can move on to the next phase. You know, and just upping the self-care and all of that stuff, you know. And I just wanted to share that because it's Mental Health Awareness Month, and looking forward to sharing more on that, you know, later on in the month. Over to you, Seb.
Thank you for that. Yeah, well, as you know, Fiji independence means for us celebration, reflection, Fiji pride. And in any Pacific celebration, food is always a major role, and coming together, of course, catching up with friends and families, and also sharing our favorite, you know, things. So tonight we want to also share our favorite Pacific Island food in a photo. Now, for those of you tuning in, you can comment on what your favorite food is and also post a photo so we can salivate over the food over this Thursday on Oceania 2. So what is your favorite foods, ladies? What are we going to go on to? Who's going
to go
first?
Trey? Trey, you want to go first? I'll show Trey's one. Here we go, Trey.
So this one, oh my gosh, it's cassava bread, tapioca yava, beautiful. With this one's got coconut sprinkled on the top, so one of my faves. And you know, this is eaten in a lot of different cultures as well. So that's the one that I'd like to share. One of my favorite desserts.
Tapioca, cassava.
Yes.
Radhika said vakalolo. I had a photo of vakalolo earlier on. That looks yum.
Yes.
I actually love that. I love that food. For me, this is a delicacy in Samoa. Now, it may not look very appetizing, but it is beautiful. This is called balolo. I love balolo on toast. Here it is. Yum, yum, yum. Now, balolo can be harvested only twice a year. So you've got, you know, the October and November is when you will find this particular sea worm in the last quarter of the moon in October and November. You know, this time we call ka palolo is a great time in Samoa because people gather on the beach and around 3 o'clock in the morning, they may put on like necklaces made out of laumoso'oi or frangipani leaves, and they'll go out and they'll go into the sea and catch this balolo. Now, I haven't personally been out. I mean, what do you guys think of that? Does that look appetizing to you?
Looks like Vegemite.
Yeah. I imagine it's packed of goodness and minerals.
It's beautiful. Yeah, you fry it in butter, hot butter
Wow.
and onion, and then you put it on toast. And because you only get it twice a year, I've never personally gone out to ka palolo, but in Samoa, I do remember when you go to work, you're really excited to hear about whether there was lots of palolo caught, and then you also try and figure out where the best place is to go and have palolo on toast. So that's my favorite food. What about you, Sev?
Well, mine is, sorry, I thought that oh, there you go. There's my plate right there. Sorry, I was digging up the photos, didn't know that you had it. So this was my birthday lunch on Sunday, which has kokonda. Those of you that know kokonda, the raw fish, that's what we call it in Fiji. And I also had it with some nama, and we had that with kora. So kokonda with nama and kora and tuna. So there you go. That's my favorite.
Wow.
And of course, there you got some dalo and some oysters and some prawns. I have too many favorites. Let's just say everything on that food is a favorite food of mine. There you go.
Yeah, I want to eat that right now.
Yum, so good. And happy birthday.
Thank you.
Oh, yeah, happy birthday, Sev.
Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Before we move on to the first interview, Sev, you've got our Oceania quiz.
Oh, sorry. I was cheers first to you ladies. To October.
Happy birthday.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
So next, ladies, we have a little quiz for everyone. So tell me, when did Fiji become a crown colony within the British Empire? So that's different from the Independence Day, right? So when did Fiji become a crown colony within the British Empire? Now, should I give them some options, or should we just wait for them to guess? Yeah? Do any of you ladies want to guess? Okay, I'll put it out there. So is it A, 1880, B, 1860, or C, 1874? Ladies, what do you think?
Is it 1860?
Come on, you guys on the chat watching in.
Yeah.
How much do you know your Fiji history? To all you Fijians on there, 1880, 1860, or 1864?
Christine Vosta says C, 1874. Nice guess. Also big Bula. Somebody else said C. Bula to George. Nissan Bula Vinaka watching from the Bula land. I would say that that's Fiji. Nice to see you guys. Yeah, I guess B, but I could be wrong, which I hope I'm not. But coming up.
Why did you guess B? Oh, we're gonna.
No, I just that later. Number. A lot happened in that time, 1860. I know back in Samoa there was a bit of history I know from that time. So I guess that, but I could be wrong. We've got another person guessing, and somebody 1874. George, good guess. We're going to come back with the answer to that. But our first interview for tonight is with a lady by the name of Maherau. She's the president of PIMDAN, and we're also going to be hearing from some of the team from the Pasefika Vaccine Hub in Mt Druitt. PIMDAN stands for Pacific Islands Mt Druitt Action Network, which was established in 2003. And the purpose of PIMDAN was to provide a platform for Pacific Islands communities to address the needs and issues impacting them. So here we go.
Rise up, warriors, and be strong, warriors.
We want to acknowledge the traditional custodians of this land, the Druitt Nations. We pay our respects to the elders, past, present and future, for they hold the memories, the dreams, the culture of the Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander people. PIMDAN recognises and respects their cultural heritage, beliefs and continual relationship with the land, and we recognise the importance of young people who are their future leaders. This land always was and always will be Aboriginal land. Tino Whalawa, Malolele, Nisa Bolavanaka, Kia ora, kia orana, koto katoa toa, e te aromata o te toa. Toko ingoa ko Maherau Arona. Warm Pacific greetings in the name of our Lord Jesus Christ. My name is Maherau Arona. I'm the president of the Pacific Islands Mt Druitt Action Network, PIMDAN Incorporated. I also work for Mission Australia, Nepean Families, and I'm also a DJJ conference convener for Penrith Juvenile Justice. In 2003, PIMDAN was established by Danina Va'a, Community Development Officer at the time for the Mt Druitt Ethnic Community Agency, which is MECA, a network of local Pacific and church leaders to advocate on behalf of Pacific communities in the Mt Druitt and surrounding areas as a response to concerns for our Pacific community being over-consulted by various government agencies. Tola Papa Alyssa Peacock was the first president and developed an exceptional rapport with various government and non-government services. In 2005, under the New South Wales Premier's Pacific Youth Partnership Initiative, a grant was allocated to establish PIMDAN as an NGO to continue to be the voice for Pacific communities in the Mt Druitt Blacktown area. I've been president for the last 2 years with a committed board to collaborating with local and national organisations to ensure better service delivery for our Pacific communities. PIMDAN has advocated and successfully had paid Pacific positions more resource allocated in the area to Pacific programs, as well as continue to bring our local Pacific issues to the forefront. PIMDAN has since February this year participated in the collaborative initiative with Pacific Women's Professional Business Network and the New South Wales Council of Pacific Communities to look at how we can pull our resources together and support each other in our vision, mission and promise to enhance service delivery for our community.
Hi, I'm Maria and I work for Mission Australia and I'm also a part of the PIMDAN Community Management Team. I've worked in Mt Druitt for quite a while now and with the community and with the services. I'd just like to talk about the vaccination hubs, and they've been a partnership with the core group, which is consisted of the Pacific Collective and PIMDAN. Also in partnership with that is the Western Sydney Local District Health, also the PPDP, which is the Pacific Prevention Diabetes Project. Also in partnership with Blacktown Council have kindly provided the venues for the vaccination hubs. We've also had donations from the SES, Mission Australia and Mt Druitt Washhouse, so they've supported all the hubs that we've had so far and donated hand sanitisers. They've also donated PPE for us, and also they've donated some stationery and goodie bags for us. So, as I said, I've worked in the Mt Druitt area for quite some time. My husband is someone Kiwi. All the hubs that we've had, I've heard positive feedback from the families that I've been through. They're very grateful that they're local to them and they haven't been able to go far. And the feedback is very positive coming through, and health has been very, very good with the families.
Helen. Hi, I'm Maria, and we're cousins and we got vaccinated today.
How was it?
Good. Yeah, it was quick and easy.
And did you enjoy the experience? Like, is it
Yeah.
the hub? Is it different?
Yeah, there was a lot of music.
And how did you feel afterwards? Are you feeling okay? It's not.
Yeah, feeling okay. Fine.
What would you like to tell young people of Mt Druitt and all your friends?
Should get vaccinated. Go get vaccinated.
Why do you think they should?
So that you're safe from COVID. Don't have to worry about getting it.
Awesome. Well done, guys.
Hey patients, just got my jab, age 12, feeling good. Music there, mad. And I'm feeling mad.
Hey everyone, my name is Alex. My experience here at the hub was awesome. I guess just from walking in the morning, the music was pumping and some inviting. Makes you want to dance when you go get your needle for the vaccine, but it's such a great experience. So thank you so much to the hub and the team here for looking after us. But it was a great experience.
So this is our Pasefika hub, and we've got people waiting in the waiting area with the doctor in the corner there, and Marcoletta, and the registration, and the injection. Take you through. Como is hiding himself. Got people waiting. It's going very smooth and really well put this morning. Yeah, that's it.
Lifetime. Ooh, MC Trey dropped out again. What do you think of that, Sev?
Wow. I have to say that it's so impressive, and I wish
Here I am.
when I saw that, I wish that I actually lived out there. Look at the Pacific hub there. You know, you got the music going, and it's a really great community support feeling when I watch that video, and it's so heartwarming to see families going there, especially given that we've had a lot of challenges with those getting contracting the virus and ending up being hospitalized. It's impacted our community really hard, and so it's great to see the work that they're doing there. Well done. Thank you to the team there on the great work that they're doing.
Yeah,
Fantastic.
highlighting Pasefika warriors in our community.
Beautiful. Yeah.
And such a positive, relaxing environment.
You got vaccinated there, didn't you, Trey?
Yeah. I went and took my family up there because, you know, I had concerns about, you know, the vaccine, the support, but also, you know, at least there I knew the nurses, I knew the team, and, you know, they were very supportive, and the music, you know, so everyone's relaxed, and it was a good vibe, and I'm glad that we're able to do that. So good on, you know, PIMDAN and the core group for advocating, you know, and lobbying New South Wales Health. I know that's not an easy task to manage, so good on them for doing that on the ground. Yeah.
And if you know of any Pasefika organizations or people in the community that are making a difference, please let us know by getting in contact with us. We do have an email. It's tooleoceania@gmail.com, or comment here and or just get in contact with us on our Facebook, Smatavai or Fiji Day Sydney. So thank you again to the team at PIMDAN for, you know, providing a valuable resource for the community.
Absolutely. That was just great to see. Thank you, PIMDAN. And now, going back to our earlier question that we had on Fiji, let me look at the comments here as to, well, quite a few got it right with C. So I'm not sure Christine Vossa got it right. Good on you, sis. Of course, you knew that. You were turning up for class, and you also were listening, I see, right? In your history class. There's another Facebook user who also said C, and George Wuyahawa Fantastic. So that was great.
Good work.
So that's really cool. Now, just a couple more. I just saw Maherau on the chat. We love you, Maherau. Thank you for your great work. You provide. Maherau is the one that was just on the video then, on the clip from PIMDAN. And thank you for the great work that you're doing out there, Maherau, since you just jumped on. Now, to this as well, as far as Fiji goes, some of the other facts is, I'm going to throw one at you two that we didn't talk about, and that is, how many islands are in Fiji?
I know this one. I know it. Can I say it?
What is it?
Over 330. Is that right?
It's definitely over 300. You are right about that part.
That's a lot of islands, hey?
Yeah,
so
a lot of islands. And there are also, out of that, there's 100 are inhabited, and the others are not necessarily inhabited. So it is amazing how many islands there are. But also, the other one is, how many people are the population of Fiji? Do you know, since we're on the Fiji topic?
I know that one too. Can I say, Trey, you go. You go, Trey.
About how much?
Because I'm Fijian, so I would know, but...
Okay. Is it nearly 900,000?
How many, Jane?
Nearly 900,000. Nearly 900,000. But then there's probably 50 million all around the world, because we just find our way to every corner and crevice of this globe. That's the kind of people we are, right?
True,
But yeah, 900,000 in Fiji, but imagine how many
we
are
do.
all around the world. Yep. That's why
So
we're navigators.
very true.
We're navigators.
We spread the love.
Yeah,
spread the
wow.
love.
I know, there's heaps.
Yes, indeed. And speaking of navigators, our next guest is a navigator, going into uncharted waters all around the world, and he'll be sharing some of that with us today. So he'll be on next. A couple of weeks, but before we bring him on, a couple of weeks ago, we shared a picture, right, of our favorite place in the Pacific. So why don't we show a place that we'd like to visit in the Pacific? Did you guys do your homework?
Yeah. Sev, what's your place?
Who wants to share their photo? Jane?
Well,
Sev?
Yeah, Jane, you first. Did you grab a photo for me?
Oh my gosh. So a couple of years ago, I was in Tahiti, right? And we came across this group, and this group came from Marquesas. Marquesas is about a 3-hour flight away from... But then there's like So Marquesas Islands.
Wow.
No, I know. How come you didn't say wow when the girls are on? I mean, anyway, moving on.
Wow.
I know, and they have this amazing adornments. They're made out of they're amazing craftspeople. Their dance is a little bit different. Like it's a kind of like a mix of Cook Islands, Tahitian, a bit of Samoan, Whataupati. The people are gorgeous. The landscapes are amazing. So if there's anywhere I want to go, I want to go to Marquesas. I want to go to Marquesas. And here just quickly is just a picture of what the scenery looks like. You're looking at that, like check out the physique of that horse, guys. Look at that horse. I mean, they love riding horses over there too. There's
what
horses.
A beautiful place.
I know. And it's so majestic. They have so many majestic
Wow.
statues. Yeah.
Yes.
So
beautiful.
A lot of ancient ruins. So Marquesas is definitely the place that I want to go to.
And that's in Tahiti?
No, it's 3 hours from Tahiti.
Towards where?
Okay, good question. I don't know, but I'll find out. But it's 3 hours away. And the flights, when we were in Tahiti, I was served by this girl from Marquesas Islands, and she was studying in Tahiti. And it's apparently very expensive to fly from Tahiti to Marquesas, and it's like French. It's a French colony too. So, yeah, it's a place that, you know, I guess not too many of us get to because it's a little bit hard to get to as well. What about you, Seb? Where do you want to visit?
Well, I had mentioned the Marshall Islands. I don't have a photo. Did you guys grab any
I
photos?
got you one. Don't worry, I got you.
Oh, fantastic. Wow. A Facebook page, a Facebook user said wow and had LOL. I think that was me saying wow so many times because I loved what you had posted. You know, that place is so kind of out of the way.
Magical.
Yeah, they have nice horses.
Magical.
Yeah, magical.
Just the landscape is incredible. It looks really, really amazing. Okay, my turn. So the Marshall Islands. The reason why the Marshall Islands, because I became really interested. There's a photo of me wearing their national outfit that I borrowed from Joseph. I don't know if you ever remember that outfit with the blue. Anyway, look at the Marshall Islands. You know, they've had a lot of issues with king tides and, of course, the rising sea levels. Hey, this is a really great segue to Joseph because he can talk to us more about the Marshall Islands. Look at that. So Joseph lent me one of his outfits like this, and there's a photo of me wearing it. And I just love the way that they just such a beautiful culture, you know, and so sad to see what's going on there, but great to see their resilience. And brothers and sisters that I've met from the Marshalls have just been incredible people.
Yeah.
You know, real Pacific warriors, climate, advocates. And because they are, of course, one of the countries that is highly impacted by the changing weather patterns and so forth. So, you know, I'd love to go there and visit them at some stage.
Yeah, thank you. What about you, Trey?
Those images are amazing. But I was thinking about, you know, can you hear me?
Yep.
I was thinking about Melanesia, and there's an image that I saw. Wait, I'll just try and share the image. Has that come through?
We can see it. Yeah, we can see it.
Has that image come through? So basically, I was thinking about PNG and, you know, because I like going to places to look at the culture, you know. So I was thinking of the Billen bags. This was made by a woman, Florence, that used to visit the Australian Museum. And this is the area where in Wee-Waa, in PNG and the Sepik River. So I just love this. And you can see the women are using the Billen bags in their dances, but then of course, you know, they use them in everyday activities as well. So I've never been to PNG, but that's one of the spaces that I'd like to visit down the track. And we talk about this all the time, right? The diversity of cultures. But now I want to go to Marquesas and Marshall Islands. I mean, you know, just a reminder of all the untouched beauties that we have in the Pacific.
So true.
Yeah.
Just
Absolutely.
incredible.
I've been to PNG. It's
so
beautiful.
be sure to share.
Go ahead.
Oh.
And
yeah, culture. But be sure to share your favorite places in the comments, guys. I know you're inspired by all of that.
Yeah. Coming up next, we've got
the
Joseph
guest of honor.
The guest of honor, Joseph Zane Sikulu. Sorry, he's been waiting in the wings for a little bit. He's the managing director of 350.org in the Pacific. He also serves on the Pacific Climate Warriors Secretariat. He's Tongan from Ha'apai and Waini in Tongatapu, but he grew up right here in Darug country or Western Sydney, Australia.
Yeah.
What else?
Hi, friends. Oh, man, so good to see you all in one place, one space.
Yeah.
Yay!
Now, what's your favorite place,
Joseph?
My favorite place in the Pacific, I would say if the borders were open tomorrow and I could go, my initial thought would be just to go to Ha'apai because, like, where else but home is where you want to be, and no matter where you go, anywhere else, there's nothing like just going back and just being in the place you know where your people have lived forever and just connecting to that. So if I could fly tomorrow, that's where I'd go.
Yeah. But you also sent some photos through of your time in Marshall Islands, which I'll bring up. Tell us a bit about this one, Joseph.
So this was in one of the northern atoll islands of the Marshall Islands. It's called Island Lap Lap, and I flew there with one of our warriors. She serves on our council of elders, and her father is the high chief of the island. And we had gone there to attend a funeral, and that's how the people greeted them. They all lined up. Everybody on the island waited for them on this strip of sand where the plane just touched down. And then when they came out, everybody was just stood there shaking their hands to say hello.
Yeah. And then this is you with some of the locals?
That's with a youth environmental group that we work with in the Marshall Islands. They're called Georgie Coom, and they do some incredible work. I mean, they've banned the use of plastic on their islands. They put rubbish and recycling bins on the sides of their roads and create them for people who don't have any. So they're doing some incredible stuff that I think a lot of youth all over the Pacific can learn from.
And then there's this one, relaxing in the water.
Yes, and then that is in the chair there is a poet. Her name is Kathy Jetnil Kitchener, but the place we're at, I can't remember what it's called, but there's like a big hole. There's this big drop, and the story they were telling us is that there's a big drop there because giants used to walk across the Marshall Islands at one point, and that's where one fell and bashed his knee into the coast, and what's been left there is just this big ditch. So it just drops deep into there after you come in from the coast, and it's where they go to swim.
Oh, I love that story. That's so cool.
Yeah.
You're a warrior yourself, Joseph. You dedicate a lot of most of your time to standing up for the Pacific, fighting for the Pacific, especially in places where not too many brown faces are. Could you just tell us a little bit about your work as managing director of 350.org Pacific? What is the main purpose of the organization?
So I guess I have probably the best job in the whole entire world, in that I just get to work with incredible young Pacific people from all over the whole entire world. And our job really is focused on ensuring that we can give this generation, the next generation, the tools and the resources they need in order to feel empowered to be able to stand up and tell their truth when it comes to the climate crisis. I think one of the hardest things is for anybody, but especially for any Pacific Islander, is that when we're talking about climate change or the climate crisis or all of the science around it, it is really complicated and it's really scary. But the reality is, the one thing that we have that is the most powerful way that we can combat any of the things that are happening in this world is just our truth and our story. And it's our youth who will have to live with the effects of the climate crisis. And so ensuring that they have what they need to stand up in these fights is what we do. Our job is to provide platform, to provide training, to provide space, and just provide mentorship for a whole heap of young people to organize and campaign. And so that's the gist of it.
You've journeyed to many of the islands, such as Kiribati, Marshall Islands. What are you seeing and hearing from those low-lying islands in regards to sea levels rising and damage caused from the effects of climate change?
You don't really see the reality of it until you're somewhere like Kiribati or the Marshall Islands that isn't just flat, but is an atoll. So it's just ocean on one side, ocean on the other side. And when you're in the middle of that or walking in between that, you can just see how scary it is to one day think that the ocean is just going to rise and just inundate everything. And that's the reality that they live with every day. People live with this. So the tide comes in, but now it's coming in a lot further than it did before, a lot higher than it did before. It's scary when it storms. It's scary when the water just churns. It's I don't think it's something you can really describe, but to be in that space is to really understand just how susceptible these people are to it. But they're also the most resilient when it comes to climate crisis. The most imaginative, the most ambitious. The ideas that they have in terms of how they're adapting to life are setting trends around the whole entire world. Kiribati, the Marshall Islands, has led the whole entire world on climate negotiations and through this. And so it's the people who have been affected the most that are actually showing the most leadership. And so if we don't know enough about Marshall Islands or Kiribati, we should do as much as we can to find out about them, because they're incredible people and incredible places.
Yeah. Wow. So true. It's so good to see your face.
I know.
I haven't seen you in so long. I look
Happy
forward.
birthday for last week.
Thank you. I think it's the first birthday in a while that I haven't seen you. So I look forward to catching up with you this coming week. Just on to what you were talking about. So what has been the biggest challenge in amplifying the voices of Pacific people that you find, especially when you're, in these different settings and speaking to people on a global scale, leaders and so forth?
We're resilient. And I think the great thing about being Pacific is that we're just gifted with an ability to be able to tell story. And because we have that just ingrained into the way that we communicate, we're able to show up into space and claim that. Having said that, though, I guess for a lot of our people, English is just not their first language. And language is something that governments and corporations just use to continue to like oppress people. Big words, people won't understand. We can do whatever we want to. And language has always been the biggest barrier for us. And so we know that our job has been to try and break down things like what's the climate crisis? What are the things that we need to do in order to do this? What's the UN conference? And making sure it makes sense to our people, because even though we might not have the language to describe things in the way that they're just that like Western society describes them, we have a feeling and the understanding of what it means to show up in that space. And I guess the way that we combat that is just making sure people have the confidence to be able to get up and speak in a way that makes sense to them. I don't know if that answered the question.
Yeah.
No, that's good. That's good. Especially around the fact that we are resilient people that would just be able to navigate our way through that, and I've seen the group do it so passionately, representing all the different countries and islands. And 350 does such a great job, especially 350 Pacific, in amplifying that voice for those of you that have not heard so much about their work. And tell us about the COP21 and what actually is all that about.
21? We're up to COP26. It's been 26 of these things, and we still have not found the action, or like we still are in a point of discussion and negotiations. COP21 was like one of the most important ones where the Paris Agreement came out of. But
in 2015.
Yes, but we are well beyond that now. We're up to number 26, and here we are still trying to figure out how we're going to move past the climate crisis. And so COP, or the Conference of Parties, is the United Nations climate negotiations, and they happen every year. And so this year, 26, there's been 26 of them. Every year, all of the countries, all of the leaders from all over the world come together to try and figure out the different kinds of frameworks and the different kinds of policies that we need to put in place in order to bring down our carbon emissions, to help adapt to the crisis, to help finance the people on the front lines who need that, for a million different things. And so that's happening again this year in November in Glasgow. It's a bit of a challenging one this year because of travel. I guess it'll be the first time during these negotiations that Pacific presence will be at like an all-time low, because traveling from the islands is difficult. But there are some delegations who are committed to going, and they're committed to going whilst holding anxiety and fear around not being able to come home from the UK if they go there, or bringing COVID back to the islands, or not being able to see their families for a long time because they might be displaced or stranded somewhere. But they have no choice but to show up to negotiations, because if they're not there, who's going to represent their people? Who's going to be there to advocate? Who's going to fight? And so there are the Marshall Islands is included in those. There are small delegations from the Pacific heading over there. Usually there'd be hundreds of people, but I think this year there is only about 80, which sounds like a decent number, but 80 is the size of like an Australian delegation, or the size of the whole American team in themselves. And 80 for a whole entire region of the Pacific isn't a lot of people. And so we are trying to get over there, because it's difficult to get over there from the islands, but we have more of a chance from somewhere like Australia, New Zealand, and the USA. And so trying to make sure that we can get there and just present the voice of the Youth Pacific. And you were talking earlier before about just how Fijians are everywhere, and we've been able to connect with the Fijian Association in Edinburgh because there's a whole community over there that have gone over to join the army, and so
yeah,
Pacific Islanders are rallying over there to join too. And so the hope is
awesome.
that whatever capacity we have in Glasgow, we know will make a really big impact because that's just the kind of people we are.
Well, we're running out a bit of time now, but sorry, Trey, you Trey, you got a question, sis? Your internet's good now.
Just with the if you can't get people over there from the islands, are you able to provide digital options, or are they providing you with digital options for the voices from the islands?
Yeah, so it's going to be a hybrid version of COP. There will be some negotiations that are happening on the ground, but then the rest of it will take place virtually. But we know how internet is on island. I mean, internet for us right now isn't that great. And so that's going to be the biggest fear, is whether or not governments and delegations on island who are staying there are going to be able to fully show up to that. Because not only it's just internet, but also time zone. They're going to have to be up at these meetings at midnight, 1 a.m. to attend most of them. So yeah, there's a lot of complexity around it.
Thanks for joining us tonight, Joseph. We wish you all the best on that trip to Glasgow. We'll probably cross over. Maybe we could cross over with you while you guys are there, and hoping and wishing you
that'd be really great. Also, we're really happy that Moana is going to be joining us. If we can line things up with the government,
if you can line the flights up,
yeah, fingers crossed that.
All the best. And people, if they want to join,
thank you, Joseph.
Thanks so much, Joseph, for all your work. If people want to find out more about 350.org Pacific, where do they go?
Pacific Climate Warriors on Instagram, 350 Pacific on Facebook. We're also launching on Monday our Youth for Pacific Declaration on Climate Change, so we're going to ask big people to sign up for. But also, just throughout the whole of COP, the symbol that we are trying to put out there for Pacific people everywhere is a huge red sea. So we're going to be asking everybody everywhere just to be wearing their red sea in solidarity with the people on the ground.
Thanks again, Joseph. All the best, brother.
Thank you.
Thanks for having me.
We're behind
Hopefully
you.
see you all soon.
Yeah.
Good to see you.
Isn't that amazing work by the climate warriors?
Sure is.
I'm always inspired.
Yeah,
when we're having
fun. Guys, it's Fiji
7
Day.
minutes.
Yeah, Fiji Day. We still got
okay.
Go ahead.
Fiji Day.
Yes.
Tell them what's happening.
Tell them to the people. Tell them. Okay, Fiji Day. What can we?
Tell them to them.
Okay, I'm just gonna share a little something. Yeah. How about? Rather than let me see what.
Okay, share the video. But this weekend we've got Fiji Day happening online in Sydney, October 9 and October 10. So you can tune into our Fiji Day Sydney pages at 11 a.m. and also 7 p.m. So feel free to come through, and we'll continue to share info through the week. There's the flyer that Sev's just put up. It's sad that we can't meet face to face, but we do what we can.
Yes, we've got an exciting program lined up this weekend. So let's just show a little clip. Yep. Here we go. This Bulavanaka, everyone. My name is Sevu.
And I'm NC Trey.
Guess what, Trey? It's that time of the year again.
Yes, it is. It's Fiji Day time. So on the 9th and 10th of October, we get to celebrate.
That's right. We'll be hosting an online virtual celebration live streaming from Sydney, Australia.
And we will be connecting with people from Fiji and around the globe on Saturday the 9th at 11 a.m. and Saturday the 9th at 7 p.m.
Yes. And also on Sunday, we'll be hosting an interfaith Thanksgiving service at 7 p.m.
So let's join in the celebration. You can send us your video shout outs and join us on the day.
And here also are the links. We'll see you all then. Mother.
We
That's
really
funny.
had fun doing that.
Oh man, I bet you can't wait till everything's out and people can celebrate in person again. Hey, but you have
Yes.
really been, I love how innovative you've been and taking it online. Second year in a row, right?
Second year, so we've got, you know, the feedback we've had and the people who are going to be on the show has been overwhelming. Like I've just sent out emails or just messaging people say, hey, you know, I'd love to hear from you with a message about Fiji Day. We're doing an online show, and Trey, we've got a huge bunch of people wanting to be part of the show on Saturday. So please, everyone out there, tune into the Fiji Day Sydney page on Saturday. You'll see the events lined up there. One is at 11 a.m. and the other is at 7 p.m. So we'll have it all up. And we're having a Lotu Lotu Thanksgiving service on Sunday as well at 7 p.m. in the evening. So we're looking forward to that.
I can't wait to see that as well. So starting at 11, and then have you got some performances lined up as well?
Yes, we have performances. We got artists. We've got dance groups. We have, you know, the formalities with the speeches from messages from leaders, political leaders, government leaders, community leaders, celebrities, you name it. They're all on the show. So it's going to be really fun.
Seb will sing. Seb will be singing.
Last year we had the the Fiji Flying Fijians. They did a shout out. We had all these sports celebrities on as well. So it was a really good show last year, but we're upping our game this year. We got our streaming stuff happening well, as you can see with our clips. So we're going to have a lot of fun.
I look forward to it. Thanks, guys. Now, next up is, what's next, Trey? What do we shake? What
rocked our coconuts?
Yeah, this segment is about us sharing a little bit about what rocked our coconuts during the week. And we're going to cross over to you first, Trey. What rocked your coconuts this week? What got on your nerves?
Oh my gosh, I think we touched on it earlier, but the changing of the guards at the helm of the New South Wales state government, that definitely rocked my coconuts. So, you know, we went from Auntie Gladys, people were very upset with her and happy to see her go, but then the new gentleman's come in, not Dom Beretta, you know, even though this Dominic might be fast and furious, Dominic Perrottet, I think it is. So yeah, a bit of a shock change, you know, with all the changes. But yeah, that kind of rocked my coconuts. But I know this rocked your coconuts as well, Jane. Tell us a bit more on what rocked your coconuts.
Well, first of all, is the timing of Gladys's resignation and the fact that and there's an investigation now by the Independent Commission Against Corruption, or ICAC. I can't help but to think the timing, right? You know, we're in the middle of, we're just about to come out of the lockdown. She's reached 70 to 80%. She's done a lot. I mean, she's had like faced up to some pretty hard knocks along the way. And we're almost there. And then ICAC drops this bombshell and she's resigned just like that. Like it came out of nowhere for us, you know, for the civilians. So that was, yeah, pretty shocking. You know, it's like it's a bit of a man's game now. As much as I didn't agree with a lot of things that Gladys did, I actually shed a little bit of a tear because she's been in our homes every day at 11 a.m. since the pandemic started. And to see her say goodbye, that was like, oh, you know, like you said, Auntie Gladys, where's she going to go? Then this new guy, the Premier, Dominic Perrottet, his beliefs, I'm sorry, it doesn't align with the things that I believe in. It's a little bit like concerning, but I want to give him the benefit of the doubt. He's come in and he's made swift changes. Like today, there was a whole heap of changes to the map for the lockdown. So get on the New South Wales services page or wherever it is you find your information, and you'll see, you know, he's increased numbers. Did you see that? Where it's gone from Gladys had, we could have 5 people in our home, and today he announced there'll be 10. He's increased the numbers of adults allowed in public spaces from 20 to 30. Weddings and funerals went from 50 to 100. he's reopened indoor pools. Like just a lot of the things that Gladys put in place, he's already changed. Yeah, so shook my coconuts. And yeah, go ahead. What about you, Sev?
Yeah, for me,
Yeah.
it's also, look, I'm a big fan of Auntie Gladys, right? And as if people don't know, because she just did such a brilliant job, and her leadership, she has been known as being one of the most powerful premiers ever, right? And her popularity is really, really high. We can notice that, right? She's left a big space, right? And her leadership has been great. And I understand that, you know, everybody's got an opinion and everything is different, but I think she did a brilliant job. And, you know, leadership is not an easy thing. It's easy for people to just look from their, you know, from our perspective and how it impacts us. But when you're trying to manage, you know, millions of people and trying to deal with so many different, I think she did a brilliant job, comparing her to so many other leaders, not only in this country, but around the world. So I wish her the very best. And it was good to see her the other day going and picking up flowers at the front of her office. And then she said she walked, you know, they kept on trying to obviously get her to respond to the case, and she wouldn't. And she turned around before she walked back in and said, I promise I'm going to read every one of these cards, and I just want to thank everybody for the flowers and the cards, and I promise I'm going to. That was just beautiful, you know, like a woman would, you know. So I think with this new guy is watch this space. That's all I'm going to say. Looking at his past record and the way what he believes and so forth, it'll be interesting to watch this space.
Yeah,
that's my rockin' coconuts, like
Yeah.
you ladies. Yeah.
Hey, we've reached
So
about
true.
like
a lot of people are concerned.
Yeah. Trey, you already shared yours, eh? What rocked your coconuts?
Yes, the changing of the guard, the new guy.
Yeah.
Okay, but you know, we'll see how it rolls out. And look, elections are coming up, so you know, if people don't like it, then we need to do something about it.
Right.
That's important.
That's what
That's
rocked my
important.
coconuts.
Yeah, but elections is important, and I think we should get more involved, especially our Pacific communities, as far as being involved in the election and knowing that, you know, your voice and your vote counts. So, you know, if you don't like something, then choose somebody or support somebody, or even becoming involved in politics. You know, for our people, it's really important, since we're getting quite a big group of Pacific people represented here. So that's an important topic for the future.
Yeah, definitely. Somebody said too many changes too quickly from what information? I'm not really sure if that's a question to ask, but today's announcement by Mr. Perrottet, there were a few changes that were made, like, and it's, I guess tomorrow there'll be more changes that will be implemented. For instance, I'm a mother. I have a child that's at school. We were planning to take our kid back on the 1st of November, and today that's been changed. It's been brought forward, and the comments that were made by teachers on that stream was, oh wow, this is the first they've heard. Like, they weren't even advised of the changes to school going back. You know, things like that. They're changes that have just come up, and we're just supposed to roll with it. You know what I mean? So there are changes, and I guarantee you there's going to be more to come. But anyway, that's the thing. Like,
and I guess there's a lot of anxiety already, right?
Yes, there is.
There's anxiety already, and people are trying to plan their lives.
Yeah. And that's the thing. I've been, you guys have been speaking with people too. It's exciting, things are open, but we also have been told, you know, the cases are going to go up. We all know people heavily impacted by COVID. We still got 911 cases today. What's that going to look like next week? And be vigilant still. Don't you reckon, guys? We might become too complacent. Be safe. You know, do what you can to keep you and your family safe.
Yeah, and we can't be.
And you know,
Sorry, go on, Trey.
Sorry.
I was just
saying. Sorry, you go, Sev. You go, Sev. You go, Sev.
I was just going to say that we just need to be responsible, like for ourselves. Take the time to find out information. Don't rely on secondhand information. Like, find out for yourself. You know, let's be resourceful and making sure that we can make decisions that'll impact us with a good amount of information, and not feel like we're being pressured or being bullied or being, you know, taken advantage of. So I think it's really important to have all the information around you and make it a responsibility so that you can then make decisions for yourself and for your families effectively, you know, and well. So keep well and keep safe is my parting words.
Okay, well, we won't have time to show the young ones and their opinions on what their lockdown. So we'll show that next week, but we'll end off with some moonlight thoughts.
Take me to a dream when there's only dancing, romancing. Like tango under your spell, we're only two could share that romance of moonlight, Fijian moonlight.
Beautiful, Danny Costello. Moonlight thoughts before we wrap up. Mine is, you know, I've been thinking about the new Premier, and I hope he's thinking about me and my communities. That's my moonlight thoughts. Remember all of us out here in Western Sydney, because we deserve to be treated equitably. And I'm out. Yeah. Peace.
Sev?
Yeah, just adding on to what we were talking about before. My thoughts are that with the opening up and all those things that could happen with it, you know, let's not just rush out and do crazy things because the gates have been open. Let's be really wise about it and still take care of ourselves and be mindful that it doesn't mean that the virus has gone away. It means that, especially those who are unvaccinated, you are more at risk as well. So my thoughts are with those that are perhaps not vaccinated, but just in general for everyone to continue to keep safe and take care of themselves and their families and loved ones. And I wish you well for the next week of freedom.
Yeah, next week, Monday, we are, you know, coming out of lockdown, saying be safe. Yeah, be safe, be wise. Yeah, just take care of yourself. Don't be too complacent. Hygiene, social distancing, wear your mask, but yeah, just be safe. And that's us for another week. Thanks, guys, for joining us.
Thank you.
Shall we end off with your Fiji Day video clip from 2018?
Why not?
Excited?
Yes. Yes,
sure.
Join us Saturday,
in the spirit
Sunday.
Of Fiji Day.
Yes. Bula Vinaka Nisa Mode, Lolomayani, Malolele.
Tofa Sofua.
To my love nonda Maherau buana tuinabuni.
Pula. For those that are not Fijian, that's how we say hello.
Pakia kia sama inondono noniro.
What I love about today is the opportunity for the whole Fiji community to come together to celebrate our culture, our traditions, and just to be with one another. It's just a wonderful opportunity to have great Fijian food, cultural entertainment, to meet up with families and friends, and that's what I just really love about Fiji Day Sydney.
Why I love Fiji Day is the people, and of course the food. We just had some fantastic performances that were beautiful. With little kids, you've got to check it out next time.
What I love about Fiji Day is getting to meet my friends and families that I don't ever see throughout the year. It's important to have Fiji Day because our children are born here and they need to know about our custom and culture.
We've got to be Australians, but at the same time, we've got to celebrate who we really are. So, being Pacific Islander, but more importantly, being a Fijian and a Pacific Islander is very important. And being in Australia, one of the great things is you can come from any part of the world and yet celebrate your own identity and be Australian at the same time. I think that's a great thing.
Mr. Wanga here has done a fantastic job of getting the community engaged and running a great show here, as you can see.
Tau mole mole au felia, au